Good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. Now, I have to tell you that memories are really our most important asset that we take with us into old age. And for the old farts like me who watch my channels on YouTube, you know what? We lived in a wonderful time in South Africa. We were so fortunate. I grew up in a small town called Estcourt, which I'll be talking more about in this video. Estcourt is in the Natal midlands in KwaZulu-Natal, and it used to be one of the most beautiful little towns anywhere you could wish for. Today, not so much. I had so many happy memories in Estcourt. I remember the drive-in that was there. It was quite close to the farm that I bought back in 1980. And, it just, when I think back in those days in Estcourt, it was one of those periods in my life where I just felt so blessed. And today, unfortunately, Estcourt, like most other municipalities in South Africa, has gone completely to the dogs. And this has all happened since 1994. In the beleaguered town of Estcourt in KwaZulu-Natal, residents still make bad jokes about cannibalism in an attempt to deflect the misery that seems to be hanging in the air. Until December 2017, Estcourt was synonymous with the well-known sausage and bacon factory, a short hop off the N3 about 100 kilometers north of Pietermaritzburg. But since a grisly story about flesh eaters and grave diggers broke, Estcourt has been in the news for all the wrong reasons, including political assassinations. The potholed streets point to a town in decline. The Nkosi Langalabalele local municipality has been under administration since January 2018. And the town's biggest employer, Everwood, formerly Masonite, closed in July, laying off 600 workers. Omesh Pitamber's house is perched on a hill overlooking the once thriving town, and his view is a desolate one. The silent Everwood plant in the foreground is emblematic of the town. Winter has rendered the landscape brown, and sandstorms add a thick layer of dust. Many residents seem straight out of John Steinbeck's Depression-era novel, The Grapes of Wrath, their weather-beaten faces dejected and forlorn. Data from Watchdog Media Monitoring, Africa's WASIMAP tool, contributes to the bleak picture. Estcourt is home to 215,000 people, and the average annual income of the 46,952 households is 14,600 rand. That's 14600 rand per annum. It's peanuts. Two other figures bear testament to the failing municipality. It collects refuse for only 19.6% of the town's residents, and just 20.6% of residents are formally employed, according to WASIMAP. And for 2 years, residents have complained about raw sewage leaking into the potholed streets. Gone to the dogs. Pitamber is almost 50 years old and spends his days fretting about how he will feed his family. He was born and raised in Estcourt. Surveying the town with a desultory gaze, he shrugs. This town used to be pumping, but it has gone to the dogs now. A father of 3, Pitamber was among the small group of staff retrenched from the Ford dealership a year ago. Nobody buys cars when there is no money. When asked how residents are coping with despondency, his eyebrows arch upwards. Yeah, I'm depressed, but I'm more worried about how to get bread and milk for the family tonight. Stephanie Wortman is a teacher who has lived in Estcourt all her life. She says Estcourt's woes have forced families to split up. A lot of parents have had to relocate because there are no jobs for them in town. Many have left their children with grandparents. It's sad. This town used to have a buzz about it. Now we warn the children to keep off the streets or to walk in groups because it is not safe. Eugene Gakaba is a human resources consultant active in outreach projects throughout the Catholic Church. She said, "The town's economy has been affected very badly. It all started in 1996 when the Burhose stocking factory laid off about 1,200 people. It never really recovered. We've had job losses at Clover, and I don't think Nestle and Estcourt are running at full capacity. Masonite was the biggest employer. It was the last hope of the town." Jacob Riemann, a retrenched Masonite veteran of 23 years, helps out at a rehabilitation centre in town. He said, "The people we treat there aren't just youngsters. It is husbands and wives. They are desperate. In 1997 we left Danhauser when the mines closed. Now this town is dying." Local business owners say Masonite's monthly wage bill was about 6 million rand. The closure has affected them badly. Vino Harabai, who runs his jewellery business since 1965 and owns a number of properties in Estcourt, he said the Masonite closure was a big shock to the town that serves as an outpost in largely rural agrarian economy. Now, I know Vino Harabai very well. In fact, when I was in South Africa in 2007, I actually popped into his little jewellery shop, which is next to the FNB, and it's been there since the 1970s. You know, he's a wonderful fellow. He must be really getting old now, Vino. But you know, he's a very healthy, was a very healthy man, and very good businessman. And he's just one face in what is becoming an appalling situation in another failed municipality. It's so sad. Less money is circulating and people are uncertain about their future. Another shop owner said it was estimated that about 20% of the monthly Everwood wage bill had been spent on local retail. He said the economy has weakened since the closure and the knock-on effect could lead people to leaving work to find work elsewhere. Hopefully somebody will buy the factory. Sister Maureen Aron is an 81-year-old nurse and Catholic nun who runs the Itembaletu Outreach Project, which cares for children and the vulnerable, with 2 other nuns and 12 volunteers. Aron feeds 40 people a day through donations and has spent her life working in areas synonymous with deprivation. She said, "What is happening in Estcourt is terrible. Look at the dilapidated buildings. People are really hungry, I tell you. On account of this, there are more house break-ins. People want food. There is just no work. I don't know what is going to happen." Harabai said that if the municipality pulled up its socks and cleaned and serviced the town, it could harness latent energy in the economy. Now, Vino Harabai should be the mayor. I mean, you know, he would really pull that town up by its shoestraps. But it's not going to happen because he's an Indian. And only BEE appointees are allowed to take up positions like that. You know, it's tragic. It's absolutely tragic what is going on in all the municipalities in South Africa. They're all coming to a complete halt. Vino said, "You should see this town at month end. The pavements are full of people and there are queues at the bank. There is buying power. The council just needs to fix up and clean up. The negativity shows up more because of the condition of the town. But if the streets were swept and the bins cleaned and that sort of thing, we could realize the potential." Residents have suffered one impoverishing whack after another, come across as prickly and suspicious. They appear nervous about what they say and what their future holds. Estcourt factory managers described the town's economy as bad and in need of investment. The factory with 470 staff is now the town's biggest employer, but it isn't running at full capacity. Townsfolk were invested in the industry that held Estcourt aloft for years, but now it is dwindling, and in this environment, one resident said, people are easily inflamed. By the time the stories of cannibalism surfaced in 2017, the deadly hostilities of the late 1980s and early 1990s between the ANC and Inkatha renamed the Inkatha Freedom Party in July 1990, supporters had long settled, but another type of violence has emerged beyond flesh-eating. Mayor Jubalili Mbele was interviewed in court and bemoaned how the case had heaped ignominy on the town and drawn visits from journalists as far afield as Germany. 2 men were convicted and given lengthy sentences after a trial that involved stomach-churning testimony. Mbele was reluctant to answer questions and ultimately did not respond. She was understandably preoccupied. Her colleague, IFP councillor Mtembeni Majola, was shot and killed on the R103 near Estcourt Hospital on Friday, the 16th of August. It was the 3rd attempt on his life. The first left him wheelchair-bound. Majola, along with former Endemeni or Dundee Mayor Richard Mbata and alleged hitman Zolani Makatini, were on trial for attempted murder. In court in mid-August, according to the Estcourt and Midland News newspaper, a police officer said his office had received information that Mbele approached Majola to assassinate a black female who was responsible for appointing municipal tenders and was known to follow regulations to the letter. So, it's a very sad reflection on the town where I spent many, many happy years, and I am just so blessed that I have those happy memories from the time I was there. It must be appalling to be living in that environment now. And my heart, my prayers, and my thoughts go out to any subscribers who live in the Estcourt area. It is absolutely tragic what the ANC have done to South Africa. All right, guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video. And above all, please stay safe. Bye for now.